Hi everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the utter horrific crime of gaming while trans and the way that gamers and trans gamers have a very consistent relationship and dynamic. So I'd like to talk a little bit more about my experience as a ranked gamer girl and as well as somebody who can give a lot of insight on what it's like to be a queer gamer and what it's like to be a trans gamer, because that it is different. So if you're interested in hearing my point of view, maybe you relate to this topic, please stick around and keep watching. I have been a gamer for most of my life, and since as young as I can remember, I remember the way that people online would treat girls, and specifically the way people with incredulity would be like, "Oh, you're a girl on a game? What?" And that problem is pretty related to the way people treat trans women on the internet, because now I think that the average person, when they see a girl on like Overwatch or something, their first thing to do is to just be like, "Oh, so you're using a voice changer to pretend you're a girl?" Like, I have several female friends who every time they try to game, some jackass accuses them of like pretending to be a girl for some reason. And that problem becomes a million times worse if you are trans, because if you're a trans woman, people tell you that all you're doing is pretending to be a girl anyway. Like, that's actually what people think. So when a gamer who is probably single, who is probably upset about it, finds out that this woman that he sees on the internet is trans, his first go-to is always going to be basically to attack them. I mean, I'm not saying all people are like this. I'm just saying, in my experience, I have pretty much completely had to stop divulging that I'm trans online, because otherwise I get attacked. I get attacked relentlessly. And, like, I'm a longtime player of World of Warcraft. I don't play anymore. I'll tell you about that someday. But the amount of people in that game who are trans in WoW, they play a female avatar, but they're a man, yet they cannot let people just be trans. They have to be shitty about it. It's very weird. It's like projection. All I'm saying is, let's be real. Like, 80% of the WoW player base plays female characters, and oftentimes they're the hot elves. So if you're gonna come for me for trying to be a hot elf in real life, maybe you need to do some self-reflection. So, in general, if you're trans, you probably have this experience. You just don't bother telling people you're trans on a video game. I don't even bother trying to act like I'm a girl, because on the internet, you are male until proven otherwise. That is how it works, especially when you play on like an online game. And if you are a girl and your name is a girly name, you get blamed for losing every time. Every time, if you're a girl and you're like playing Overwatch and your team starts losing, some jerk ass is like, "Oh, well, I blame Fairy Girl 123 because I died." And it's a weird mix of misogyny and transphobia that comes for trans women, because these men rarely see women online. Most of the women who do play online just don't bother acting like they're women, so people just assume all they're playing with is men. And when they do see a trans woman online, their first question is, "Oh, well, you're not really a girl." So it's hostility right off the bat. And if you're doing voice chat as a trans woman online, you will be misgendered. No matter what you do. I do not get misgendered in real life, but I do get misgendered online because everybody assumes you're a guy on the internet. And so most trans women I know, they don't even speak on voice chat. And I don't blame them. And a lot of the women I know have stopped speaking on voice chat because I cannot tell you how bad this problem is. I'm not going to ramble on most about online games. I'm actually going to talk about my experience as a female competitor. For those of you that do not know, I am a former ranked Super Smash Bros. Player. I was the only Peach player and Rosalina player to ever be ranked in San Diego in Smash Ultimate, and I am proud of that. But I would consistently go to tournaments where I was the only girl. And sometimes I would be the only queer person, or at least visibly queer person. But part of that experience means you get a lot of attention. And that can be good and that can be bad. But one of the biggest problems that I had was, like, most of the attention I got ended up being negative. Sometimes, at least more recently, it would be people who follow me around because they're like, and then they find out I'm trans, and then they get really mean about Because like some of these people are have been single their whole life and they're mad about it. So every time they see a trans woman that they're like attracted to, they get like genuinely mad when they find out they're trans because they're like, well, I'm not gay. You know, I wouldn't do that. And it's this toxic mentality that means that if you're a trans woman at a Smash tournament, even if you're like new in your transition, maybe you're not trying to go full time, no matter what, you will get a lot of attention. And it tends to be bad attention. I mean, there are multiple Smash Ultimate players who came out as trans after the fact. They became like a top player. One that comes to mind is from Seattle, one of the best Pokemon trainers. Her tag is Moxie. And if you try to go on any of her YouTube videos, on any of her sets, doesn't matter how well she's playing, doesn't matter anything, most of the comment section is saying like, guy or girl? Is that a guy or a girl? Oh, that's a trans. Like, there is a serious problem. And nobody takes these problems seriously because it doesn't affect them because they're not trans. But I'm going to talk about it because if I don't, who will? These players, some of them, like there is a ranked Melee player, Super Smash Bros. Melee, a very hard game to get into. Magi, or Magi. Oh, I don't want to pronounce that wrong. Absolute icon, went to Summit, one of the best Falco players, almost beats Hungrybox at this last tournament, but the entire comment section, just people being like, guy or girl? Is this a girl? No. It's a trans. Like, people do not care about you as a gamer anymore once you are a trans woman. You are either a girl or you are a queer. And in most cases, you're both, and in most cases, that is bad. So, I'm not saying to blame any one particular person for this sort of dynamic, but I wanted to bring it to attention because people are always like, why are there no girls at these video game tournaments? Why are there no girls in the gaming community? It is because of this problem. And so the girls that you do see in the gaming community are, in my opinion, I meet more trans women at these tournaments than I do meet cis women. And that is because of the misogyny. I think so anyway. And the trans women, either they come because they're braver. Like when you're trans, you tend to put up with bullshit because you're used to it, you know? And most of them, you know, if you're socialized as a boy, you play video games because boys are the video game players, girls don't do that because, you know, gender roles and all that bullshit. But so I was socialized as a boy. The only thing I did with my friends as a kid was we played video games together. So me playing games in my adulthood is a result of that. But most women don't grow up that way. So this problem is self-enforcing, and then women don't get into gaming because they're just so sick of the way they're being treated. They're sick of the male attention. I cannot tell you how many women I know who have a story of being sexually assaulted at a video game tournament, and most of these women probably didn't even go to that many tournaments. The average woman I know who has come with me to a Smash tournament has come to maybe one or two, you know. So that's a terrifying fact. I myself was assaulted at a Smash tournament. I was followed into the men's bathroom. And a lot of people don't think about this, but everyone's always talking about, it's like, oh, well, what if the trans people go into the bathroom and molest people? Nobody talks about how trans people are getting molested constantly. Trans people getting molested in the men's bathroom is a universal, it's a universal truth, and it has happened to more people than I'd care to admit. So all I'm saying is, we need to take a step back and understand that, like, oh, this is the consequences of society and the actions of, like, gamers as a whole. I mean, we remember Gamergate. We remember how they... So, let's just take some time to remember how many gamers there are. The LGBT community and gaming, like, that is a beautiful community there. And I know so many gay gamers. But I know way more gay people who compete than I do trans people. And I think that's because the trans people get so much more attention, you know? And there's negative gay attention, too. I mean, I do not want to go into the whole pedophilia accusations that go around in the Smash community. Maybe I'll do a video on that at some point. But it's almost always accusatory homosexuality. Like, it always involves being gay, it seems. And that is part of the no-no. Like, people need to acknowledge that we as a society have not moved past homophobia, and we need to acknowledge the way that that is affecting gay people from gaming, affecting the community from growing. And, like, I hate to say it, Smash Ultimate, the community is stagnant. It is. I was really excited about this game when it came out because it was like the new big one, you know, and I really love Smash. but the game isn't growing in viewership, and that is because of a lot of things. And I'm not going to blame any one thing, but I will say, if this game appealed to women, we would have a lot more people. And you know what? Maybe then we would have less gamers who are single and forever alone and mad about it and on incel forums and scream at women online. And then we would have, hopefully, less of these gamers take out this venom they have on the trans women they do see, because they resent that the only women they need at these tournaments are trans women. You know? Most of these people I know that go to the Smash tournaments, most of their social life is these tournaments, because it's a long process. You go there for a while, you play games the whole time, it's hot, it's stinky, it's sweaty, and you pay money to go, So that takes up a lot of your time. And if that's the only socializing you get, you're going to want there to be girls. Because let's just all mix and match, My brother is a software engineer. Most of his social circle is men, and that's not the fault of him. We all want variety. We all want to branch out, but everybody gets locked into a box, So I do think there's a lot more I could say about this, but I don't want to try to cram it all into one video. I just wanted to give some of my experience as a trans gamer girl. Every time I've been on stream or speaking on stream, I just have so much weird comments directed my way about my voice, about the way I look, and it's the reason I don't go. I'm going to be honest. And nobody understands this because I'm actually fairly good. I used to make money at these tournaments. And I just stopped going, and I haven't really looked back because I'm sick of the attention. I love attention, but it wasn't the type of attention I wanted, That's why online, I don't even say I'm a girl if people ask. Well, I mean, if people ask, I do. That's not true. But I don't go out of my way to correct people if they call me a guy, because on the internet, you are male until proven otherwise. And I think that's especially true of a trans person, because we constantly have to prove our womanhood. We constantly have to prove our gender identity or validity, or we have to prove that it's okay for us to just want to be respected. So just take it for what it is. I'm not saying that I have a solution in mind. I think this is kind of a Pandora's box situation. But you know what it is someone has to talk about it. So if you like this video, please subscribe, please comment, please hit the notification bell. I want to get noticed, and I think I have a lot to say. So if you want to spread the word, if you want to spread a little pixie dust, I would really appreciate it.